what is the plan? All right, so the plan here is to make some progress on this guy. I did make progress last time, but we're gonna make a little bit more. I've got a couple of things that got to get fixed here. As you can see, I've got my layout here for let's change this to 60.1 because I may have jumped up a little bit too much, but hey, we're okay. So this is what I've got so far. You can see I have my field, but I do need to get the grid to start showing up, and it needs to draw lines. And I'm debating. I'm thinking about creating an entire section that reappears once you click on one of these. That section being the item, the route that you have selected, followed by the possibility, as you can do clicks and get lines to build up a route. I want to be able to insert actions, and those actions are going to have to be, you know, one of several things. It could be a block, it could be a hitch. Okay, so a hitch is like, I don't know, to me a hitch I'm saying it, to me a hitch is when you basically just go stop, turn, like you're waiting for the ball. That's a hitch. It's not quite a hook. A hook would be stop, turn, and run back towards the ball. Now a hitch and go would be turn like you're going to get the ball and then turn and run up the field, which would be different. But both of them are kind of, that's the end action, right? Unless you put some extra thing in there. But hitch and go would be one thing, and then you can do. Let's see. I'm gonna see. I want to put an extra field in. So this is okay. By the way, like I said, my computer is still locking up on occasion. Our monitors are disconnecting. I haven't fully. I think it's still overheating, and I think it's the. It's not necessarily the processor area, which still gets pretty hot. But it's like I need to put like multiple fans on the back of this thing. It gets pretty dang hot, and when it gets hot, I think that's when it's disconnecting. Especially if I let it get hot over here, over by the ports, Thunderbolt ports. So. Yeah. I need to get another fan. I'm probably going to try to get like 2 more fans. They're expensive. Well, they're 30 some bucks a piece, but when you're broke, you know, whatever. But I was going to put one up kind of close to the port so they don't get so hot there. Because it does get pretty dang toasty here when I'm connected. So it could disconnect and drop me. So I'm just saying, when the monitors disconnect, then OBS blows up, and then I'm disconnected. So, just FYI, I could end up blowing up. So, there's that. I was trying to get my business taxes filed, trying to close some stuff. I don't know how to get this to stop being a jerk, so we're just going to have to roll with it and see what happens. In the meantime, we will just keep plugging away here. Closing some stuff. I don't know if that'll help my. Let's just see what. Curious what this has for heat. I feel like it's going to show pretty high. Yeah, we're pretty toasty right now, even with my fan, which is really good at dropping the temperature usually. But, and it's only, right now it's dropping the temperature immediately around it, but I still think it heats up. Yeah, it's like right now, immediately around the fan is cool, but it's just getting so much dispersed heat right now. It just can't keep up. So I need to have more fans, more cooling capacity. I mean, we're sitting in the 60s, low 70s and 60s, but that's still pretty high. And dropping stuff off helps, but you can see I'm even getting, I don't know why this is open, but I don't know that closing things actually helps. To be honest, I'm not sure any of these things actually lower the workload. But you can see I have a bunch of icons not showing up here. That's from I guess memory capacity, memory overload. I don't know. Could be overheating. I don't know what's going on. But we've definitely got some issues. And all the memory suckage. Honestly, I don't think I'd reboot my computer in a long time, even after traveling. So that's probably not good either. But hopefully we can get this thing to cool down a little bit and avoid a crash and burn, but maybe not. Honestly, I should probably close this, but I don't want to yet because I have some info on there that I want to work with. Right. So here's the thing. This little div here has my route definition in it, but this thing's gonna have to have a little bit more. Currently, I have it popping up. Well, the route, we got the route definition. So when we have a position show up, we have this guy appear, which puts in, I guess we build this rectangle. Is that what we're doing here? Filtered component, class name, map, move to. So we are putting in these guys. Oh. So I click there. And then we have a selected position. So I'm guessing I've got to put whatever my new value is in here. So I think, because this is the route definition, which is all the details, right? So probably what else could this be? It's called Quard. But you know what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to have it change to action. This chord here, I think I'm going to have that set to action. Action! Just because I think I'm going to have it be more. And then when I'm going to have a list box here. Yeah, I'm going to call this action. It's going to be coordinates, move to, whatever. But we are going to find blah 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 blah. Where is blah blah blah? Is it actually part of that? It's probably part of this. Yep, it's this guy. Routes, select position at the coordinates. That might not work. Never mind. So we have to, that's the position, select position, map, we're going to get the coordinates. However, I'm going to, but every time you click, it puts in a new, all right, I think I have to implement what I have Claude doing for me here. Okay, so basically what I asked Claude to do, export default formation on the play editor component with the formation layer returns a set of coordinates. I need to draw a line from the original coordinate to the new. If another location on the field is clicked, we're going to create a line from that new spot. We're drawing routes for that position. So basically I need the lines to be put in. Now it was going along creating the formation layout with route drawing, which is fine because really all I need is for it to put the lines down. So the lines are just for viewability, drawing the lines and hopefully leaving them in place. So this is formation layout. So we're going to go back to the formation layout. Allow it to draw the lines in place is really what we're going to do here. So it added some more, it looks like. Now we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, oh, it didn't change. It just, he puts a lot of space in his stuff. So, all right. I always read now. I used to be, I didn't read. Now I read. Because I just don't like just replacing. When things are working, I don't trust Claude. I don't trust any of them anymore. They totally have a tendency to, they have broken stuff on me and things just stop working. And then I don't know where. So I have to kind of track where they're doing their thing. You know, you just get original position, which is, this is where it's going to get the coordinates from wherever it was previously. Just so it can draw a line to the new position. That's the point. All right, so, and then we have convert grid coordinates to pixel coordinates, which I think it's already doing. Create grid. Oh yeah, that's my create grid. Grid to pixel? That is a weird thing. I don't know why it does that. Get original position. Create grid. I don't know why. Okay. Guess I kind of understand why it has to do this. I don't like it necessarily, but you kind of have to, right? Because you gotta convert to your pixel state. Create grid. I don't think anything else is going to change. Handle position click has. Yeah, that looks the same. Handle table click. That could be a little different. Let's see, selected position, table 1, constant, cell closest TD, cell parent, element return, get row and column indices, F4. And then we have the set routes, update routes for the selected position. And then, so basically it's doing this. And I'm just going to go right here. Okay. Then it goes, all we got to do is generate route path. Just going to go here. This is getting to be a much more complicated thing, which, again, I knew it would. So this is really all it's doing here is starting to coordinate my grid as I ask for certain layouts. I'm trying to get my lines to draw from each previous location, so it's generating me the kind of breakpoints, the stops. The generate route path is the part that's going to draw the lines. Now I did, you know what, I think I need to actually put this piece of code in here, this question. The reason I say that is because I need to simplify a little bit. So it may actually change this slightly. What it was putting in hashed lines and doing some other weird stuff that I don't want circles and squares and all that other crap on there, because I looked at it. It's got potential, but really it just looks better with the positions as they are. The circles and squares look weird. Unless they're big enough to hold a legible letter completely encircled, they're not good. So you almost need to get it to where your grid is big, and your circles are fine if you can do that. But if you're working on a smaller grid, the circles are going to have to be big, and then they all start overlapping. And then you need enough space so they don't overlap, but your letters have to be tiny so they fit inside the circle. It just doesn't look good. It's just hard to get it on a smaller grid area. Now, I've thought about widening my grid. Now you can see that I have my, let's see here. So I've been widening this a little bit, and I might widen it more, because really, this is only half of a field. It's really all it is. This is about 40, 50, 60 yards, a little over half a field. And when you think about the end zones, it's not even that, right? Because that's 120. So this is, well, it's 100. Yeah, it's half. So it's 60 yards worth of space. So it's half the length of a football field. Which means, and when you think that, here's the thing. I like sizability. All right, so your grid can change sizes based on the size of your window, but it's only so much I can do, because you still got to be able to read what you're doing. So there's a limit. So I haven't been resizing this grid at all. So it's kind of locked in. This is kind of the smallest your window can be right now, and I don't know what the dimensions of this are. But if I make it too small, your stuff will fall off the screen. So like if I shrink this, it sort of stays in, and so now we're getting like all weird, right? I don't want things to go outside of the box, so I got to fix this so the field can't go outside the box. So like this would be the minimum. This would be the minimum size to fit everything on the screen, short of everything shrinking with the window. And that said, like my football is part of my viewport, the top port. You can see things are kind of falling off the screen already, which isn't necessarily good. This is like minimum, but it's not right on. So this has to be pushed. So yeah, it's kind of not great. It's a visually flawed layout. I mean, it looks okay. It just doesn't respond well to resizing. So it's best when it's like about this size. Everything fits. I don't necessarily mind my football up here. I just haven't figured out how to make it. Right now, it's the navigator. It's the back home button, which is probably not great. I got to decide how to implement a back button. Right now, this always goes home. So the football goes home. What I could probably do is something of the, I probably need better icons. I mean, really, I probably should say something like, have one that looks kind of like the city, or some kind of a city mark, or something that takes you back to the main place, and then have other options to go to different places to try things out or to run things. Like I want to be able to set up I want to be able to pick a play and have it be put on the field and tried, worked out, played with. because there's once you have plays, eventually the goal is to be able to give settings to those plays, like what players do you want to have. You can have certain players maybe assigned to the different positions if you want. If you're going to go through that effort, I want to try and give that option. It could be a later option. I think right now I'm going to have the plays available, and then you can practice them. Which practicing them helps create optimizations. But by practicing plays, you become more experienced at a play, so you can master those plays, and your guys get better at the play. Theoretically, their stats, they can perform better on those plays. So if you're mastering the plays, you're going to perform a little bit better. Practice, right? Practice makes perfect. But you run them on your own. You run them when you want. You run them against different defenses. You try to see what works. And each defense, each part of their team can pick the plays you're going to run, and the team gets better. You're basically scrimmaging against yourself. You're running practices. But I want that mastery to be available to you, and you can kind of see how that play works. How does it work against different defenses? And the players that are running can build up a little experience too, because when they're running black practice, they get experience. I want to be able to do things that have visual purpose. So in other words, reasons to look at guys running on the field. Your players running on the field. I say guys, but could be monsters. Whatever they happen to be, whatever their breed happens to be, or their species. But you don't have to do a lot of those things, and it's going to have some effect or not have an effect. But you can do some stuff simulated. You can tell it what plays you want to practice and which ones you don't. But if you want to see why a play works and why one doesn't, and what's you'd be better off watching it. You can run plays silently, so to speak. Have practice and say focus on these plays and try to get those plays mastered or whatever. But it takes a time. It'll take time to master plays. So you won't be mastering all your plays. It will be difficult. Maybe you can get it to the point where you master 20 or 30 plays, which would be great. And you just hopefully have maximum play potential, and your guys are getting experience doing all that. But I just want to keep giving ways for you to build up experience and have plays run. And that's one of the advantages to having a play editor, which, like I said, not going to do that right away, but eventually, because then you're able to run a play and see, oh, okay, well, that doesn't work because, boneheads run into each other or something. I don't know. But I kind of like to be able to do it just because I need to do it for myself. And generating plays, making sure I don't blunder my way through them. All right, let's see how this went. All right, so let's see how this works. All right, so now we got the formation layout. Let's go back up here. See how it cleaned things up. We got the table ref routes. They did put in this constant, which of course we needed for me to have. Now I didn't put red in here because red to me is going to be the run play. So whenever you have a run play, the running back will get his route set as red. Just because that's what I'm going with. Get original positions. Create grid, which I don't think changed. Handle position click. Been simplified, it looks like. handle table click. Set routes. Guess we're okay there. And we have the 4 and the 3. Okay. And we have the generate route path. Don't know what's there, but I'm going to just copy it again because it's brand new. I don't know. I can't like. I don't think it matters how much it changed. Now we're going to get the route color for the position. Get a color for a position based on when it was first selected. Ah, okay, that makes sense. All right, now let's go here. I'm going to go down to the return, and this is where it puts in all of the route and the color. So I'm actually just going to gamble and take the whole thing. I say, don't do this, don't ever do this. But I've changed so much. This route handling is going to be pretty major. I can, as long as it's all at once, it should be fine. And because I can easily undo it, is what I'm saying. All right, so now go back up here. So it seems formation layout is the only one handling the lines. All right, let's see what happens. See if we broke. Usually it's pretty good about not giving me syntax errors unless I forgot to put something in which case that's a different problem. But that could just be, that would be just a me problem. Ah, all right. I'm still getting this. All right. I don't think that's going to stop me. At least I didn't think it would. Usually it doesn't. It could be a problem. Now it's a problem. All right. Let's see. Formations.jsx. Let's save all this. All right. So this is a standalone problem. So let's go over to here. And we'll create a new question. This is ChatGPT. Okay, so we're going to go to formation selector. And which is not, it's just formations. Line 60 of this code getting each child in a list should have a unique key up. Formations. All right. Formations. Dot map. Where is, oh, here it is, formations.map. Okay, so we have key formations ID for whatever reason. Kind of interesting because formation is not saying that the problem is on the div or on the formations area. The problem is that it's saying it's in the, it's line 60. Did I actually say line 60? Oh, it is. But why? But the problem is, let me see, what do I have for the name of my div? Because it's complaining on this line, which is outside of the formations. Is it because we're recreating? Well, I guess, I mean, it could be what's inside the div that's blown up. Well, it is a list, I'd imagine. Huh. Huh? Alright, let's see what it says. Let's see what the fix is. Make sure. All it's really doing is adding in this little check up here, this key blah 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 stuff. So we will just take that and we will put this here. Find out momentarily if that did anything. Okay. That could just be that I didn't actually define it. That could just be that I didn't bother to put that value in. Wait a minute. Oh, really? Oh yeah. That's a different problem too. I had to take, I took this out because I thought it was, because it got rid of it for a previous update, and now it's putting it back. So, because I went because I didn't realize it had deleted some other functionality when it did it the first time. Hey, there we go. We're back. We're back to something. I don't know what it saw was the problem with the IDs, because they all should have unique IDs. I will have to look to see what it's creating, because whatever it's using is obviously not valid. We have a use state. I'm not use state. An ID. What is it getting its ID? So the ID is coming from formations layout, and it's reading them and sending them out. Oh, it's using call index here. I wonder if is that what it's sending back? Huh. All right, well, oh. There is a situation where I don't want this doing the click thing. I don't want this doing the click thing if we're not in the play editor. Because if I click on this right now, it's going to do stuff. Like, see, things break. But we can't have it break. Yeah, I got to get rid of that. Okay, so we got to go back in here. So we're going to go is play editor. And we're going to go here. And we're going to say equals false. Get original position. Handle position click. If let me click here. Now this shouldn't do anything. Okay, that's perfect. All right. So the point is that we don't actually do anything with that if we're not in the play editor, in which case we go here, and then I go is play editor equals true. Oops, that's not going to work. Gotta go squiggly. Okay. Now let's see what this does. All right. Click there. That, well, that didn't work. That's okay. The -5.6 is perfect. My width is too crappy. And my was it 100 pixels? No, let's go with 150. 150 feels wide. We'll go with 120 pixels. There we go. It's a little better. Okay, still, it didn't mark my. It did not create a. We're not getting lines. We're not getting lines. So let's go see what I did wrong. I forgot some lines and I'm not getting them no more. Can you give me some help, sir? I seem to have lost all of my lines. Oh, what did I do? Wait, that's not Claude. This is ChatGPT. Oh, I see the problem. Let's go ahead to Claude. Okay. Alright, so what did we do? We got formation layout. The lines are not drawing. Lie. Why is it, why is it, why is it, why is it, why? It could be that we're not, well, no, we are getting the clicks. Clicks are working. On position click, stop position click, handle table click. Are we getting this? Yeah, I'm getting in here. I really wish there was a way to stop it from going into, hey, Killer Bean Shades. You're new, man. Unless you changed your name. How's it going, man? Good to see someone new here. Thanks, I appreciate it. Like Retro Bowl. Kinda, sorta, in a way. It's in that it'll be sort of a GM game with a sim. The only difference is there won't be any control elements. Retro Bowl has a control element where you can like pass your own pass. So unfortunately, it's not that. It's closer to I'd call it a. I don't know. It depends on what kind of games you've played. But I've tried. It's kind of like the goal is that it's going to have a simulation. No. No gambling. No gambling. I mean, I guess you could gamble on whether or not your team can beat anybody else's team. But no, what it's going to be is I'm trying to think. Have you ever played front office football or geez, there's so many of them. But it's like that, but I'm going to actually have a good simulator. Probably haven't seen the simulator on this. This simulator is just do I have this? Oh, let's get out of here. Yep, get out of this. I'll show you. I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. So right now I'm working on a play editor, so you can create plays. Okay, so plays can be created. And then when you click here, you'll be able to see all the plays. They'll start popping up here. Again, I'm still pretty early in this. This is the game plan where you can say what plays you kind of prefer to get called in what situations. So you'll be able to set up your entire offensive, defensive game plans for how you want plays to be called during the game. And then I'm setting it up with kind of a fantasy motif because I can't have an NFL license. So I've decided that all the characters are going to be based on the mascot of an NFL team. That's wrong. Based on the mascot of their team, which will be created from an anagram of the NFL team they represent. Because everybody here is going to be, not everybody, there will be game-generated players, but there will also be actual NFL players that will be imported into the game. Now, the reason there will be game-generated players is because if you're doing a season type thing, a season-to-season deal, you might have to import. There may be game-generated players that can come in. Now, I haven't decided how that's going to work. I may just be that you can add new players for future seasons into the game. But because you're going to be able to get real NFL players, but they won't have NFL names. They'll be anagrams. So yeah, I'm changing it up a lot on how it's going to use it. So I've decided to say, like, for example, the Denver Broncos are the V-Born Scorned. It's an anagram of Denver Broncos. And the Scorned are their mascot, which means anybody who comes into the game, any player that is a Bronco from the NFL that's imported into the game will be a Scorned, and they will be that creature. And so if they're ever traded to another team, they'll still be a Scorned, just wearing different colored uniform. But they will be that creature. And I've got some sample images and stuff that I'm hoping to start getting more and more of those images to start popping up over time. I'm going to start building in more player images and more cards. And this is just the web UI, but it's going to be it's like a fantasy football. In fact, the name, the working title, as you can see in the corner there, is Pro Football Fantasy Manager. But actually, I'm changing that to Fantasy Pro Football Manager because it's a Pro Football Manager set in a fantasy world. And so anyway, this is the now this sim here is well, this sim is just the bare bones prototype. Okay, it doesn't really it's not. It doesn't fit the motif. It doesn't have any kind of a fantasy feel to it yet. There's no players on the field. I'm going to put players on the field in the phone version, the Android app, which is right now I'm trying to build up the infrastructure to have enough code, enough parts that I can feed into an Android app, and then I can start working on the UI in the game engine. And in the game engine, I want to have players on the field. A good example of a game that does sims, that does a sim that I like the way they do it on Android, is Big Win Football. So if you want to see a game that does some a simulation it's going to be similar, but since my players are going to look different, it'll look different than that, but it's going to have that kind of feel of how the sim runs. Plus on that game, all the formations are identical every time. So when it goes in, every offensive formation is the same. There's only one formation and one defensive formation. And they do a whole different thing where they're integrating these cards that do stuff on the game, and which is fine for that game, but it's not really a GM game. You're not really doing much in it for GMing. It's very bare bones outside of the sim. But I like the sim feel. It's smooth, runs well. That's kind of what I'm hoping. See, I don't know a lot about the graphic stuff, but that's going to be new to me too. But hey, everything I've done so far has been built in code 2 months ago. I didn't know anything about. I never even heard of Go prior to working on this project. I had never worked in MongoDB prior to this project. I had about 3 months of experience in React when I started on this project. So I feel like I've got a lot done in just about 2 months of actual work. You can see I've been keeping track of my days of actual work. I'm about 60 days in, having started at the end of October. I know that's 3 months, but I haven't worked on it every day because life, and trying to do other things and jobs and stuff. But eventually, this is being generated from some random code, random data, and I'm going to attach my backend, which is all written in Go, to actually pull the player data. And I've already got all the player formulas. Luckily, I don't have to recalculate all that, hopefully. Transferring it into the Go system, Go database, Mongo database, is going to be a little bit of work. But hey, everything I've done so far has been a little bit of work. So, but I want to create this so that it has a motif that fits the fantasy world a little bit better. This is just a mocked up first run. It's not even the right dimensions. So anyway, that's kind of how this is going to be. And this is back when I was calling it Football Simulator, which is when I started. But yeah, there will be everything. If you look at front office football and what is it? I have a whole list. I've been doing a lot of market research. Let's see here. Can I expand this? Okay, so we have Gridiron Football, Football Manager 2024, Pocket GM 3 Football. Okay, so which one is this one? Oh, Pro Football Strategy. So there's even a couple on Steam. This one I can't really look at too much, but there are a fair number of GM games out there. This one didn't get terribly great reviews. I guess it's mostly positive. I suppose that's good. But I was going through all of them. These are all different football things. And really the goal is to try to make sure my game stands out. It's not going to be what everybody else's is. So the common denominator in what mine does is it combines a lot of what you see in, like, say there's Madden, right? Madden, if we were to say, graphically speaking, the game on the field Madden's probably got the best outcome. I mean, there's a few out there that do okay. I mean, I guess there's some college ones that are supposedly pretty good. I don't know. But for the most part, that level is amazing, right? I mean, that is visually spectacular. Now, the game itself, people say pretty crappy. In fact, I looked at it, wasn't impressed. The game is fine for what it is. I don't understand why it's so complicated. It's because of all the real world physics and all the stuff they build in there. I'm not going to be able to do that. That takes a team of gajillions of people and millions and billions and jillions of dollars. And that's not going to happen. But there are also a lot about being able to control the players and move the players. And that's what Madden's all about. And they take the GMing part, and it's kind of a distant second in importance. Now, if you take front office football or any game like that, those ones go the GM route, and everything is more important than the game. The salaries, the players. Now, the game you mentioned, Retro Bowl, I play it. I like it a lot. But here's the problem with Retro Bowl. There's a couple of issues in my mind. I don't play it as much as I was because it's a game that, you kind of hit the ceiling of, it gets old. Because there's very little you do GM-wise. It's very limited in the players. There's very little salary cap control. I mean, it's very basic. It is like the ultimate basic game. But I'd like to say that it's kind of the bare minimum what I would like to see in a sim, because you at least can move players. I don't like the idea that there's no defensive side of the ball. I mean, you just play and wait. Let's see what happens with the defense. I mean, it's going. It's like score, score. The better you get, the harder it gets, and the other team just scores on every freaking drive. And you got 2 minutes. It's just, there's just a lot of things to complain about there. But a good sim that keeps the game close over a full range game, and right now, the best one I've seen so far in a good sim that keeps the game close is Big Win Football. Just looking at it and how the game sims. I don't know if it's random. I don't know how it generates anything, but it does seem to play pretty well. It looks cool. I'd kind of like to see my players have a little bit more detail. Maybe, maybe not. But ultimately, I'm going to have more plays on the field, more variety of what's happening on the field. I want to have interaction on the field. You tap a player between plays, he'll turn and look at you, or you tap on the crowd, and you can set up, you can trigger emojis on the field, which can actually create boons on the field. So your interaction with the field and what's going on in the game can actually help what's going on in the game. You can up morale, like maybe increase the fan response or the fan morale motivation. Things like that are going to have some amount of effect in the game, because I want the game to take center stage. I want people, even though they're doing all that GMing stuff, worrying about draft picks and training and making their team better, it should all be about wanting to see your team perform. Not just hit sim, final score, then you go look at stats and do stuff, because that's boring to me. Some of those games go so far into the weeds. It shocks me. It's like I want to be somewhere in the middle. I want to be able to provide all the necessary stats and stuff you need, and everything that there is will have an effect or have some kind of carryover into the game. So if you manage to adjust this, that, or the other thing for a player, it's going to affect the game. But I want it to be something. I don't want it to be like there's 10,000 stats and you have 50 pages of different stat categories, and some of these are just insane. And it's like I don't even know I don't know what to do with all that junk. And it's like, why? People get that far in the weeds are crazy. I like numbers. I like statistics. I like fiddling, but that's just over the top. So I'm going to try to have it somewhere in the middle. You're still going to be manage your entire team. There'll still be draft picks. A lot of the things you do that might be kind of fun, maybe even maybe a little bit of negotiating with the salary. There will be salary caps, and there will be all the stuff you need to build a team and manage. Just maybe not down to what the guy ate last week. You know, so I don't I don't want to have stuff in there that says, you know, oh, the guy can lift, he can bench. I mean, I realize, or they have combine results. How did the guy do at the combine? I don't want to generate combine results. I don't know what that's going to do. Who cares? Look, this is what his stats are. This is what we see for potential, possibly. This is what you're doing to adjust that stuff. That's all you need. That's just, yes, there'll be a little scouting, but it's not going to be like, probably scouting, maybe just a few grades higher, a few more things than Retro Bowl. Retro Bowl's got kind of a cool little scouting thing. You can scout so many players, and it tells you how much the guy can improve. I think to some extent something like that's going to exist. Really what it's going to come down to is when you bring cards in, because remember, there's not real players. It's all fake. He randomly generated. Some of those guys are so bad. They're just so bad on Retro Ball. I'm like, what? And you're never offered a guy in trade that's worth anything. I've never been offered a good trade. This guy's looking for a job. And you go look and you're like, yeah. My kid can play better than that. my 2-year-old can run around and can get better stats than that guy. It's like, why would I take him on? I don't know. And then they want your best players in trade. Hey, we'll give you a #1 draft pick for this. Draft picks, you can't afford them half the time. Yeah, if you're not paying the money. Oh, that's the other thing. My game's going to be a free-to-play, but I am not. I tell you, promise. This is my promise to everybody. The game will not have a ceiling stopper for people who don't pay. There will be things in there that you can buy or pay that maybe give you a little extra flourish, some fancy this or some fancy that. Mostly it's going to be cosmetic, but everything to some extent can be earned just by playing the game. And there will be no pay to win aspects of this game. You're not going to be able to just throw money at it and get better players, because that's not how it works. You might get some cards, like you can buy boosters and that kind of thing, but you can earn boosters too. And I'm not going to have it be where only the people who threw a lot of money at it can get more stuff. I figure if you play a lot, you'll get just as much stuff as somebody who's paying. Now, I haven't figured out the full tilt on all that yet, because I'm not even to the point. That is late development stuff. For me, game design is first and foremost, and so that's what I'm working on. So that is the goal, man. I want to have a game that's hybrid GM, where the game itself gets to be front and center. So yeah, that's how we're gonna proceed with this. And with any luck, I'll be able to get some yeah, did I let me also show you. These are a couple of, oh, by the way, a lot of my, at least for now, until I get to a point where I can make some money off of this, like if I can get me some backing on one of my fundraisers, which I'll be doing periodically throughout the development of this thing. I'll be using AI art. So if you hate AI art, I'm sorry. I can't afford real art. I'm unemployed. So you're just going to have to tough it out. Anybody who backs anything of mine will get a backer code, which when that means you can access the website as this website here and start being able to play with features as they come online. And it'll all be just included in that backer amount, because I'm not going to limit anything during the development phase. So whatever's there, there's not going to be all the pay to play elements of the pay elements will be added when I start having enough elements to actually do that with. So I just want to have a fully functional game, a game that has stuff worth its salt. There are a couple of videos I'll be doing again, and I have to do an update on the what I call it, the developer roadmap updates. I'll be doing those pretty soon too. I have a couple on my page now where I'll do some developer roadmap stuff. Where am I at? Where am I going? What's the plan for the next period? I am about due another one, so I'll be doing one soon. Anyway, where was I? I was gonna show you my where is where am I going? Oh, I know. The quickest way to get there is not in a straight line. So these guys here are some basic idea of what some of the, oops, I guess I didn't have to open that, players might look like. Now, I say that now having no idea what I can do in Unity, because I'm not a Unity expert. But like this is a kind of an, these are all mock-ups or dolly image generations. So I'm hoping to kind of get these guys turned into a 3D model that I can turn into figures that are going to be on the field. These are the lizards. We got the rhinos and the ice giants, the scorned, and I don't have any others yet. But how many is that? 4 or 5? I got to get 32. These are the island swans, but this is a coach card or a coach. The island, is it island swans? No, it's something else swans. This is the New Orleans Saints are the swans. I have to work some more on that image. I'm not totally fond, but I thought it was a decent coach image, so I decided Sean Payton would be this guy, because Sean Payton is from where? The New Orleans Saints, so he's a swan, even though he's coaching the Broncos right now, or the V-Born Scorned right now. And I don't know all of the teams. I don't know. I'm like, this is the Island Lions, which is terrible. It's not even a lion, so I don't know. There's another Island Lion, another terrible one. Some of these are done by Copilot, and Copilot's kind of eh. But when I can, I'd like to be able to purchase some, buy Dolly and you get like 4,000 credits a month or something like that, and then I can spend a bunch of time on here and build up a lot of credit. I build up a lot of these images. And then I'll start importing them into the game. And so whenever a player's loaded, he'll have his image and his stats. You'll be able to do things like have your team get better at plays. So you can have a play mastery. Every player can have a level of play mastery on a play. So the more they practice it, the more that play is run, the better you get at that play. Your guys just perform better, running that play. Now, it only gets to a point, right? It's all that stuff. It's just like practice. Your guys get a little bit better at doing things. And the better they get, the more your team can perform well in. But it allows for your team to always have a little bit of improvement, whatever the case may be, throughout a season, throughout a career, throughout whatever. And it's just everything contributes towards your team's betterment. And all those things the game will look at while it's running and go, okay, well, you get this stats and those stats and that thing and whatever happens throughout. So it's going to have a lot of stuff in it, way more than Retro Bowl, and all of it's going to matter. There's not going to be some random stat that's just like, you'll have morale and motivations and synergies. I call them, there's synergies and cohesions. Team cohesion is players that or when you have a lot of players from the same root team. Like if you have a bunch of rhinos on your team will have a higher cohesion than if you have a scattering of players from a bunch of other teams. Rhinos and giants and lizards and scorned and all that stuff, and they're scattering. If you don't have more than a certain percentage of players from the same team, you won't get the team cohesion bonus. Then there's team synergy and there's player synergy, but mostly it's player synergy. Team synergy might come as your team is maybe performing well throughout the season. They build up a synergy, but overall, player synergy is kind of the same thing. It's how players interact with each other. Like you can certain players, like a quarterback and a receiver, might build up a synergy between each other, and the more they play with each other, the more they build up that synergy. And team synergy is kind of the same. You can build that up, but it's a weaker version of like team cohesion. It doesn't do as much because you have all the player synergies. But it's just a bonus that might kick in or might start to max out right around playoff time, because that's when your team has been playing for the longest period of time. But anyway, there you go. There's the quick rundown of where the game's going. And to be honest, I kind of do that with everybody. Every new person gets to see the thing. That's why I got to do videos, so I can tell people, hey, check out this video, man. You can see all the details. So I should do that more often. Maybe I should just clip this one and stick it out there. Say, hey, go check this out. But anyway, right now I'm trying to get my play editor in place so that I can actually start adding routes and stuff to my plays. And you can see no route. I click and no route. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Trying to get my route to appear. All right. I'll simplify the route. That did not work, so why not? It's the question of the day. Maybe, wait a minute. Let's go look at my layout here. Does this have the lines? SVG. Yeah, no, they're there. All right, so the question is, why is it not appearing? Oh, it's 5:10 already. It's been a short week for me because I was gone with my wife and I. My wife and I went out of town. Oh. The issue is in the calculation cell width and cell height in your code. Currently, they're being assigned as strings with pix units for the table layout, but when used in the route calculations, they need to be pure numbers. Really? Is that so? We'll see. All right, well, whatever you say, man. Let's go look. Let's go look. All right, so it's gonna change. We got our table ref, our routes, route colors, cell height and width. I have those already though. Cell height, cell width. Oh, but they're changing them. Calculate cell dimensions as numbers for route calculation. Okay, so it is changing these to actual. Which is good. I was wondering why it was doing a pixel conversion, because I'm using cells as in table data. a table layout, and I was curious as to why it was using length, but I thought maybe it needed to do it because since we're dealing with lines that are 2 millimeters and my other stuff could be different dimensions, I thought maybe it was just trying to focus on that, but I guess not. Thing is, it's funny how it'll say, oh, the error here is, it's like, do you realize you wrote this? All I did was take what you had. But it's like, oh yeah, well, I messed up. Let's see, player position, we got the position, find, I'll probably just copy, return null, split map number, and then we got return, cell width, cell height. Oh yeah, see, we're not dividing anymore. We're not doing the pixel dividers anymore. And there's grid to pixel. I'm not sure why it's, oops. Wait. It's kind of interesting though, if you look at this, that almost looks like this. Doesn't it? Those are like the same numbers, right? Grid X, Y, and then it grid to pixel. Because it's the same value. We got X times width times num. Oh, that's cell width plus cell width divided by 2. See, cell width plus cell width divided by 2. Huh. Kind of looks like the same thing, but I don't even know. Where's it using grid to pixel? It's being used somewhere because it would be a different color if it wasn't being used. I don't know where grid to pixel. It must be in the code itself. Okay, create grid, handle position, click. I don't think any of this is changing. Nope. Handle table click. We will just take this just in case it changed something. I don't see a change, but it could be I'm just not looking that hard. You know, I don't really do anything. I do notice that sometimes it takes out your comments, though. I don't know if I like that. See, this is like nice. It tells you what it's doing, and then here it removes it. I'm going to look at it. I think I'll keep mine instead. If it doesn't change anything, cell. We got these 4. Set routes, previous, select, new, select. Okay. Alright, so let's just keep that. So generate route path. Don't see any real change here. And then we got get route color. Alright, I don't know what else it changed, but I will take all of the div here, all the way down to there. And just in case, I will take all this down. Go back here, play editor. Ah! Okay. Maybe there's something different here on how this is working. Because now grid to pixel is different. Did his grid to pixel change from my grid to pixel? Maybe there's a change in the grid to pixel. I didn't change my grid to pixel, so it could be with num. Yeah, see. This guy got changed. Try it again. Aha! Aha! We have routes, folks. We have routes indeed. Check it out. Let's see how it does when I add another route. Now, the thing is, this is probably not going to save. I don't know what it's going to do here. Yeah, see, it erased. But we now have routes. That's a terrible looking color. Green on green. Yeah, probably should be a different color green, like a yellow green or bold green, or I don't know, some other green, but that green's not going to work. You can barely see it. We're going to have this tight end, click here, and he will go from here. Where do I want him to run? But still, look, man, we've got routes. Now I just got to figure out how to save my routes, because obviously when I change, my routes aren't getting saved. It just gets deleted. But we've now got routes being created. Now I have routes saved, the route backend developed. I just need to actually put this stuff together in an object and load it. Now what I'll also have to do is load it or save it. I need to put it together and save it, and I also need to load it. Yes. But as you can see, now we've got a play, kind of, sort of, in a way, being generated, which is awesome. Now I need to add actions, which is going to be my next piece. I got to add some bits in there that will allow me to say, okay, well, after moving, what do I do? Does he just hang out? Does he keep going? What I might do is something like, I have to give actions that will have their own definition. So like, if I say go means continue on your current route or on your last route, and just keep going until you're in the end zone. And then once you're in the end zone, after you do that, I mean, there's only so much that can happen, right? I mean, the last thing is scout. Scout is kind of like the last thing a receiver should ever do. Finishes his route. There's certain places where it dead ends. Like if you're about to run off the field, okay, you're done. Now it's time to scout. You could just say stop and scout, which means they're going to hang around that area. And they're going scout just means try to find a spot where they can get the ball thrown to them. They're going to move around. That's all they're going to do. Turn around, run to spots that look like they're open. But ultimately, it's like, if you run out of field, run up the field. If you run, most time, hopefully your quarterback throws the ball before you run out of field. So you shouldn't have a lot of situations where you're doing scouting. Scouting means you're just going to kind of stay in your area, looking for a place to get open. So you might move a little to the left, a little to the right, whatever it just takes to get open. Follow the quarterback, just whatever. I have to define what scout's going to do, but I want that option to be there. And I'll have the players do the stuff they need to try to be open. So now I should be able to click on guys. Like these guys won't. Now I have to be able to save the routes. I have to give them actions. And ultimately, like if I go here and click on W1, oh, check it out. Well, I'll be danged. It's remembering. Is it saving? Wow, dude. Good job, AI. I didn't even realize you put that in there. I thought it was just erasing them. Oh, what it is it's rebuilding them. It's looking at the positions on the field. Huh. It's using the state. Well, let's see. What is it doing? What? Oh, here's the routes. Oh, okay. So it's saving the routes, and the routes have information on them. And it's wow, I didn't even know it was doing that. That is so cool. Huh. Oh, that's going to make saving it so much easier. Good job, AI. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what it's going to do at this point, because I obviously have more players, and I only told it the W's and the T's. But I do like where we're at with this. This looks good. So now I got to start saving routes. And this, all right. I do have to add actions to this. So that's the next step. Let's get some actions added in at the play editor point here. I'm basically building the play editor, and hopefully it saves up all my info. I have to come up with nomenclature that tells it when to use black. All right. I'm just trying to think how I want to lay this out. All right, so if this is my route definition, I want to be able to add the thing is, I don't know how many more questions I can ask Claude. I think Claude might be done. Claude might be done for the day. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start a new chat. I'm going to put this in. I need to insert a list box between play definition or after ID after play definition div tag. Is it right after the play definition div tag? Oh, route definition. Oops, route definition. Div tag that has list items conditional to the clicked position. And the formation click position shown in the route definition. definition list, i.e. W3 or RB, W3, RB, etc. For positions, starting with W or T, the list will show stop, pitch, go, scout, and what else? What else does a receiver do? Stop, hitch, scout, block? Block could be dangerous because if he's blocking down the field, that's a penalty, right? I can't have guys just going out and blocking. So I mean, I guess in theory, if it's stop, hitch, go, scout, I'm going to end up having to build some kind of, this should probably be a back-end list because it's going to have to be conditional. It might be editable, and I want to be able to add things to it without totally changing the display code. Because remember, anything I put down on the front end has to be done on all my front ends. So if I do Android, I have to go redo all the stuff in Android. If I put in the back end, if my lists are all defined in the back end doesn't have to recalculate everything. It just says, get this list. Get this list. Just show the list. So if I ever add an item to the list, I can add whatever I want. I just add it to the back end and it just comes out on the list. So right now, I think I just need to create route actions table on the back end. And I have to fetch that. So I'm not going to have any condition. I'm not going to put any of this in. Nope. Nope. I need to insert a list box after route definition tag that has a list. Has list items fetched from the database using the playbook data. Playbook data.js. Fetch play selections, fetch formations. It'll look a lot like my fetch formations, but we'll just call it do I even need to? That's actually div tag that has list items fetched from the database using the playbook data.js. Fetch fetch route actions function and with prop of position play type. See, play type is going to be defined as a run or a pass. That's like the singular play type. I will call it the master play type or the general play type or whatever. It's going to be a run or pass. Everything's a run or pass except for special. I see run, pass, or special. I guess we'll call it that. Play type, run type, pass, or special. Okay, and I have to add a lot of stuff into one question, because if you don't add everything into one question, that's one more question you have to ask. Alexa, set desk lamp to warm white. Because if you have to ask more questions, that's one more thing Claude can't answer for me. So, because I'll run out of time. Additionally, I need a or an option list vertically aligned with a title play type and options of run, pass, special. Each with a value of R, P, S that will be passed to the fetch route actions call. What else? Oh, this list will be placed immediately after the formations must be the filtered component, whatever that is. Filtered. Why is it called filtered component? I don't like that. Why do I call this dumb thing filtered component? Oh, it's called filtered component right here because it's filtering it at this point, which is dumb. Right after the formation selector. Formations selector. All right. Let's see what that gives me. What is Claude going to come up with? Sounds like a good approach. First we add the, oh, are we adding, did it say components first? Yeah, then create the UI components. Oh, it's okay, so it's going to create components. I guess components work. Do they have to be components? I don't think they're that complicated. I guess you could have components for those, but the generate artifact uses libraries we don't support. I don't care. Just show me the code. It always tries to show me stuff. Never works. It's never shown me anything that comes out anywhere close. It tries. I like that it tries, but my code is too complicated. It can't figure it out. It's like I don't know how to display this to you. But this is what I would do if I could display it to you. All right, so we're on to the play editor. We are there. So we're going to add some new state variables. The route actions. Route action. Okay, so we have the route actions, which is going to track what the routes are going to be, and then we're going to have our play type, which is my run and pass. Run, pass, or special. Run, pass, or special. We're going to do that. That's so very special. Then we're going to update the imports to include fetch route actions. So we got handle position click, which is right here. It doesn't do a lot right now, but it's going to do more because we have to have other things happen. Set selected position, and then we're just going to add this in here, which is actually going to go do our fetch, which I don't actually have the function yet, but I think that's going to be a pretty simple thing to add in personally. Now we're going to go over to my playbook, fetch route actions, and we're going to copy this one. Route actions. And then I think we probably have to do an import that's actually going to fetch route actions. Go out to my play editor. Fetch formations. Honestly, I have it set as a default, but it probably shouldn't be. Fetch formations. I mean, there's no reason for this to be a default. It's just not. It's not really a default. It's not like it's the most important thing I have on there or anything. So we're just going to say export. And then we're going to go, I believe the proper nomenclature would be to do a list box of a thing like this. And we'll go, oops. That should give me my list. I haven't got fetch play selections. What are fetch play selections? Oh, you know, that's going to be a thing, but we'll add it in here. Don't need it yet, but that will eventually be important. They're pretty simple. We go get it, send it back. Let's save. We'll go here. Let's save again. Oh, it's probably going to break. Oh, I shouldn't have hit save yet. Now it's all broken. All right. It's like, I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, I know. It's my bad. I shouldn't have done that. All right. Oh, and that's ugly too. Let's stop it. I might have to stop for that code. It's a little too much. A little too much going on there. This is a significant alteration, so we'll have to restart it. We got the code in there. It's not an await. I didn't set that up as an await. Yeah. Oh, I gotta wait for it to finish complaining. You shut me down. I don't know what to do. I'm so lost. Would you like me to terminate? Yes, I'd like you to stop right now. Told you. Still hasn't done it. He's working on it. I was like, wow, that hurt, man. You totally hurt me. And I probably orphaned my port too. I hate when I do that. Oh well. I don't know the correct way to clean up a failure. doesn't exit well when it doesn't like what you did. When you introduce. Okay, how come? All right, so this is going to be API path. It is a list, but this is going to be route actions. Learn to spell, my friend. That's not how you spell route. Error calling. I mean, I guess it would be gRPC gateway. But it does say it's async. So we're having an issue with my calling it an async. Oh, I have to make that an await. Oh, he did make it an await. I just didn't listen. My bad. Oh, handle play type change. What? Uh-oh, what did I do? I may have made myself a mistake. No. Why is he fetching route actions twice? Position ID and play type. Well, they both need to be in there. Handle position click. Set selected position. Why is it calling it twice? Fetch route actions should only be called once. And which one do I care about? Handle play type change. Handle play type change. Oh, it's recalling it based on if you decide to change it into a run or a pass. It's very smart, very forward thinking, but I don't know if it's something that I can allow. Because a pass allows for different functionality than a run. And I think what's going to happen on a run, if they change it to a run, they're going to reset their routes. Really, I think I need to just say we can't really have a play type change because their routes are going to get reset. They need to be cleared. Because, I mean, you can set routes, but they're going to be what I call black routes. Black routes they're not targetable routes. And it's going to have to be a lot more stuff that happens. And I guess you can keep them, but I mean, it lets your guys go out and pretend. I guess you can audible to a pass if you do that. But it makes the running back the primary target. Hmm. 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 I'm trying to figure out. I'm just thinking, as you see me go, my eyes roll to the back of my head, and I'm just staring off into space. What I'm going through in my head right now is how the plays are going to play out in the game. I'm trying to think. Okay, well, okay, computers don't. You tell it to move from A to B, it moves from A to B, right? But the players cannot be that smart, right? I mean, a really good player executes his play really well. A very talented route runner will run a perfect route or run a near perfect route. But players aren't all that good, right? Some players may not be as skilled. And my thought is, I need to have drift calculated in. Like maybe if their skills at route running are a little weaker, they may drift a little to the left or to the right or to the up and the down, depending on what they're doing. Their routes may not be perfect. And what that means is things can happen. And the reason I think about that is because I'm thinking, like, what if you do what do you call it, a lateral pass, where the quarterback runs right and the running back runs left, and he turns around and throws it back to him on the other side of the field. While a top flight running back with some good route running skills might run the perfect route. Others may drift and maybe get a penalty. So I can do a check and say, if player is, I mean, it's not that it's illegal, right? I guess if it's a pass or a fumble, I guess it just depends on where they were at the time of the pass. That's true. It's not really illegal, but if something goes wrong or whatever, you got to decide if it's a fumble or if it's a forward pass, because if you have a play in there and the guy goes out and he drifts and he's a little forward and he tries to throw the ball again because you calculated in a double pass because you did a weird thing where you double passed, a penalty could occur if your guy was not in the right place, or your quarterback made a mistake and ran drifted, and one of you guys crisscrossed and it became a forward when you can't pass on a forward. I'm going to have all this stuff. I'm going to think this stuff in, and I'm going to have everything kind of like, I'm going to run this play. I'm going to try to make it so it's possible to fail at plays. Now, it's not going to happen all the time, but sometimes plays, for me, it'll be like, that's where your play mastery comes in. How good are you at running these plays? If you haven't ran this play before and you try this play, there's chances of guys drifting and not running the routes perfectly. And it just becomes more difficult to run it accurately. Or maybe the blocking isn't as good. You're blocking for a play that you haven't mastered may be weak. Like, I'm thinking there's like 3 stages of mastery. There's unknown/new, and that's when you will have a negative effect on your player's skill. Then there's experienced, having ran the play, you're familiar with the play. This is where your guy's own personal skills pretty much just work as they work. So if a guy's good, bad, whatever, he's going to be about what he is. But if you've mastered the play, that's when the player might get a little bit of a boon or a boost, or he's just a little better at it because he's mastered this play. So he might actually excel beyond his normal abilities. Like say for blocking, it's tough to block for some kinds of for a play you've never done before. You don't know where the guy's at all the time, or you haven't gotten familiar with how everybody's running and doing their thing. Well, maybe a guy who's, he may be a little less good at block. His blocks may be weaker, or his blocks may be good, or his blocks may be a little better than usual because he's mastered or not mastered the play. So that's kind of the idea. And every player will master the plays differently because some, like their intelligence, might affect how quickly they master a play. Like a really good player with really high intelligence might master it quicker than a player that's, average. I mean, most of these guys are football players. There's not a lot of dumb football players, right? Because it's kind of important to coaches that you have a guy who can read the plays and learn the plays. But, some of them are going to wrap it up a little quicker. Anyway, so that's kind of what I'm thinking in my head. How are these things going to be affected, and how do I want to have that happen in game, which really has absolutely nothing to do with the play editor. It's just, I'm thinking of how that stuff's all going to handle. And I'm also thinking of, do I want to allow for a handle position, change play type? Yes, probably. I have to decide how that's going to look. I'm thinking, yes, I want to be able to allow plays. I want to be able to allow audibles. So if I say run, these guys act in a different way than they would if it was a pass. But my thought is an audible has to be same formation, and you're just calling a different play. So if you don't create a play as a pass and a run, you can't audible to the same play. And that's where I'm trying to hash out how that's going to work. Because you can't give your receivers blocking assignments on a pass play, because they're going to go out and block people where they're not supposed to. But you can give them blocking assignments on a running play because, well, you can block anywhere on the field you want if you're doing a running play. There's no penalties involved. That's another thing. I need to put in a play title. People need to be able to add the name of their play. Or people, me, I need to be able to add a name of them a play. I know. I keep talking about this play editor like it's going to be publicly available. I'm sorry, it might not be, because I'm worried about clutter. Oh, I'm worried about a bunch of plays that end up being kind of the same. I'm worried about functional problems with plays not working. I don't know if I want to create individually assigned plays. So what I might end up doing is maybe giving the ability to create plays as maybe a purchasable thing, and that you can submit plays to be reviewed, and then we would test them, check them, make sure that they're functional, and then maybe add the play. Just because I don't know that all. I'm worried about them being. I don't believe a play will ever be broken, because the plays are plays. I mean, if it runs and it works, then good job. But it is possible, I guess, you could maybe figure out the holes in defensive plays and go try to run them, but you don't know what for sure is all going to happen, right? You find that I haven't created enough defensive plays to handle all situations, and someone comes along and goes, you know what, this play is always ran in this situation. I can create this play that will just work it over every time. And then I'll have to go create defensive plays to stop it. Because there should always be something that can counter something. Now, nothing counters every time, right? It has to do with the players. If you have bad players, they can't do the job sometimes. But the idea is that you would be able to stop. A good team with a good defense can stop anything, right? Given the right pick of plays. Use effect. Get formations. Constant fetch formations. Set formations. Okay. Get formations. There. Okay. Handle formation select. Nothing different. Set filter. Set show component. True. That's new. Oh, no, it isn't. It's just I have the thing here. It's just for some reason there was no, that was on the same line. Okay. Filtered component. Ooh, look at that. Filtered component got way more complicated. Constant filtered formation. And then it returns more than just the formation. It adds in a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see what that looks like. Formation. Handle formation. Okay, we're good. Just got to make sure. I got to read anytime it's putting in new stuff that we're not breaking. And then if it does change what I've already got, I need to know that it's, you know, it's going to function the same. Be very careful with AI. I will iterate this forever and ever. I did put my values in. So this is my whole list box. That's nice. Okay, so I don't know what all it's doing different here. That's my selection, okay. And then we got show component, and then we got play definition on the right. Oh, that's just my thing. I thought it was adding that. Div, select, div, h1, h2, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't tell it to put the action selected from the list into this list. Yeah, well, we'll do that next. Selected position. Oh, we have a new selected position thing. Font bold, action key, oh, action name, So we're going to take this guy. Copy. And then it's play background. All right, I think I've got all the new stuff. So this is actually my list. It's going to take whatever they select from the actions list. Now, what I need to happen in my action is it to be, I need one more thing to happen when they do this. Again, we're going to see yes. When action is selected from the action list, I need it. I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to find out. I need it to be inserted into the route definition list as the next action. i.e. chord action. board, etc. It's like, oh boy. Yeah, you just went and make things all complicated. I don't know what to do with this. You're making things too hard. It's like, I'm like, yeah, well, cool games have complicated pieces of code in them. The sad part is a lot of what I'm doing right here is going to have to be redone in Unity because this is all AI interface. On the back end pulling lists and stuff is all going to be on the back end, sure. But all the stuff I'm going to have to generate how it's laid out and recreated in Unity as the front end, the front end for that app. And that's going to be even more complicated because it's going to do so much more. I don't even know how. I mean, there's going to be visual, just drop it down kind of stuff, but it's going to be more flavor everywhere, looks and appeal and function and stuff. So it's going to be fun to do, but it's going to be more. And as we get deeper and deeper and deeper into all of this, I got to have the Unity app visuals. That's where the app is. And this is just the base functionality of the game. And I'm creating this basic infrastructure so that I can create the parts I need so that I can do things like implement the sim with back-end coaching and with coaching profiles and player interactions, because I'll have plays to work with and a game plan to work with that I can read off of and actually run the sim. And then all that stuff has to be done again, the UI portions of it in Unity. Now Unity can be recompiled, so I don't think it'll be too big of a deal to run it in Apple, and I'm not even sure how complex it'll be to make those same changes into a PC, because I think Unity runs on all the platforms. So hopefully recompiling that part into other environments should be less complex. But you still have to do things, right? Because a PC's bigger, it's got a different layout. It's usually landscape versus. Plus, I got to do stuff that's nice. Most of the games I have do not play well on a foldable phone, like this one. See, big screen, tiny screen, and this tiny screen is annoying for games because it's really skinny. It's not bad in height, and everything fits on it because they always plan for tall devices. But they do not plan for fat devices. And what's happening on almost every game I play, Marvel Snap does a surprisingly good job. But most of them do not consider this shape. Some of them will make you do this, landscape, because they play in landscape. But that doesn't always work because of the dimensions. And what they'll do is they'll extend off the screen, so certain things will either be cut off on the left or the right or the bottom or the top or something, and you're like looking for buttons that should be there, and the only time I can see it is if I shrink my phone and look at it this way, because they don't plan for the off shape. Now, my feeling is you get smart and you say, okay, well, if they're using this device, you get it as big as you can at full height of your game. So you use the same height. And if you can't make it wider, then c'est la vie. You at least, you put some blue borders on it and you make it fit. But you should consider your device that you're working on. So I'm going to try to have it be smart enough I'm going to build a look for a foldable phone. Now, it has to be, maybe it's landscape. Right now, I'm building, everything is set up for landscape, so maybe I build it to fit this dimension. Maybe I even consider building it with dimensions that are similar to this. So I don't even know what my dimensions are, but my aspect ratio, if I make my website and my images all aspect ratio match this, theoretically, I can get everything I do on the website to match this. And that's what you would see, except this will be cooler because it'll have better graphics. But Then I don't know what I'll put on this because that won't fit anything. I'll have to create a vertical aspect ratio. Maybe one's a horizontal aspect ratio, a landscape aspect ratio, and one's a vertical. But I like it when a phone will let you play on both ways, but most do not. Even Snap only works one way. If you turn it sideways, it just looks sideways. You know, so I get it that games can't rotate. It's a tough thing to get things to lay out correctly. But like you can see here, I got Marvel Snap here, but it's sideways when I go here. So Marvel Snap's really good. It knows how to, make sure everything works on height. And even when you play on the PC, it's still kind of like this. All it does is widen the screen, right? You can minimize your window and resize it, but everything just squishes together to the point where it looks kind of like this in the tall state. Yeah, I got my day 7 neon border. I gotta get my day 7 neon border. I mean, who wouldn't want me to have my day 7 neon border? Clicking my freebies. Okay, I'm off. I'm not gonna keep playing on my phone. Just chill out, man. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show what I'm going for. So it's going to be smart enough to work on all phones, dang it. Well, not all phones. I can't promise all phones, but foldable phones will get it. There are some good foldable. I'm hoping Samsung's 6 or 7 fold, I think they have a 6 now, makes the skinny screen fatter. I don't really need it to be taller. It's a great phone, yay, but I'm okay with it being a little wider and maybe even a little shorter, kind of like the Pixel does, the Pixel Fold. And right now I'm looking at that Pixel Fold for my next upgrade, but I don't know, only because it's got the dimensions I want. I actually really wanted the Neo, but of course Microsoft bailed on that after 2 versions. It got too hard. I don't know. Microsoft's tried different hardware. They keep bagging out on their hardware. The only thing they've stuck to is their Surface devices, which have been great. So they're staying in the PC world. Only thing is now they're turning their Surface devices into ARM devices, which is turning them into, they might as well be Chromebooks. I don't care anymore. I don't want their new Surface. It's like, no, you guys ruined it. They're not PCs anymore. It's like stuff isn't compatible. I know more and more stuff is getting compatible on ARM, but it's not. Maybe they're having too much trouble with heating because I do have overheating problems with mine. Okay, so that said, let's get back to it. What did I tell it to do? Oh yeah, we're putting this in. Okay, so modify the route state structure to store both coordinates and actions. Okay. So we got to go back to the top and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have created our states. Handle route click. Where is it putting in the modified the route state structure? Where is it putting that? Added a new handle action select function to add selected actions to route sequence. Oh wait, did it create a function? Oh wait, no, it's probably up here. Handle formation select, handle action select. Here we go. Handle action select. Okay. So we're adding in a handle action, which of course is what you need to put in the selection into. Oops. But where is it adding this? Modified the routes states. That's right here, isn't it? Routes. But where did it do that at? Because I do not see the state structure. Somewhere it did that. So it must be a set. It must be the set routes. But where? Set routes. Where is set routes at? Set route actions. Modify the route's state structure to store both coordinates and actions. Okay, I get that. But where are you doing it at? There we go. Set routes. Aha. Type action. Type coordinate. Oh, okay. So it's the handle route and the handle action. So the handle route click. I got to change the handle route click. Handle route click has this. All right, so we're passing a coordinate in or an action in. That's fine. To me, they're all actions because it's a move action or an action action. To me, it's all move. I mean, I guess I could say it's different action types moved, but it's like a move action or an action action. So does it need two different types? Maybe because it needs it to display, you know, to know which one you're putting out. You're putting a line out or you're not putting a line out. So maybe that's a thing. Updated the route display to show both coordinates and actions in sequence. Okay, so that's the that's down here. So we got the route definition, and that's going to be this guy. Oh, shoot. What time is it? 6:15. Am I going to wimp out? Oh, I don't really have an excuse to wimp out today. I should probably go. I'm looking. It's not so good. What do you mean wimp out? Volunteering? I've been volunteering. I've been going down to just this local church and helping them clean up and stuff after they do their food drive or food. What do they call them? Not food drive. You know, where they let people come and get free food. It's a food bank, but they have a thing where people can come and get food. And I've been kind of going down there. I mean, I kind of already did. I helped them out a little bit today already. I went and I went and got food for them at the local Amazon, and I should probably go. Probably a good idea that I stop at some point anyway, right? All right, modify the route actions. Okay, updated the route list display to differentiate coordinates. Move to X, Y, and actions action name. Okay, so they're putting both. Update the route list display to differentiate between coordinates. Move. Yeah. So we did this. We did this. Added a new handle action select. Update the route display to show both coordinates and actions in sequence. I'm not totally sure this is right. I feel like... Oh, okay, so it's doing it. Oh, it's doing one. It's doing the other. Okay, so it does it to it. And then updated the route list display to differentiate between coordinates. Don't think... Oh. Oh. Okay, so I gotta go. There is one more thing here. We got this guy has to be updated. To this. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look before I head out here. Is that even built? Let's go npm run build. Run build? Yes. If this builds, I will go ahead and run it just to see where we're at. If it doesn't build, we'll stop there and I will work on it some more at a later time, maybe tonight, as part 3 of today. Okay, it looks like we ran, so we'll go npm run dev. We do, oh, we didn't orphan our port. It's still 3000. That's nice. And we should be able to open here. We will have to log in again because it doesn't save the cookies on that scenario, on the Visual Studio. Now this is kind of a weird thing. Look, see, my things won't appear. It's kind of a bug. Unless I resize, then they appear. Which is kind of weird. Sure. It's not really what I had in mind, but okay, I could kind of live with it for the moment. It's a drop-down box. Play type. All right, let's stick with pass. I'll click on this. Oh, request failed. I could be missing stuff. Oh, you know what? I haven't implemented my route actions list table to get actions back, so I got to do that before I can load this. So that'll be my next thing. So that's it. I'm going to stop for now. Until next time, God bless.